Welcome to AtVenture Dealflow, the podcast where I talk to founders who are actively fundraising and the investors who back them. Today, I'm speaking with Maud Vermeulen, a connector, investor, and community builder in the Dutch and European venture ecosystem. Maud works at Golden Egg Check, a fund that actively co-invests and connects fundraising founders with investors. She also serves on the board of Women in VC working to strengthen and diversify the investor community. And of course, she is a member of AtVenture Platform, sharing her knowledge and experience with our angel community, and she's part of our investment committee. Maud brings a unique perspective across founders, angels, and venture capitalists. Maud, I'm very happy to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Yes. Yeah, so Maud, you are doing really a lot of different things at the same time. So you next to your day-to-day job, you serve also as a board member of Women in VC NL, and of course you're a member of AtVenture Platform. So why did you join Women in VC NL? I mean, why do you think this is an important role in this ecosystem in the Netherlands?
Yeah, so when I started my career in venture capital, I started at ROM Utrecht, the
Yeah.
regional development agency. And I quickly saw that in the ecosystem we have a big problem, namely the fundraising gap. And well, because I'm a young woman myself, I wanted to do something about this. So I started looking for networks, networks that were out there, and then I found Women in VC. And I actually had, it was, I think, right timing. I contacted the board and I told them like, hey, if I can do something like co-organize or be more active and take more initiative together with you, then I'm really happy to help you out. So that's when I basically first got in contact with them and also got a board position quite soon because of proactiveness, I guess.
Yeah, cool. No, and I think that is really one of your characteristics. I think that you are really proactive and really a person that is always networking and connecting people with each other. So yeah, I also see that really as your strength.
Thank you.
And I think also if we make the link then to Golden Egg Check, I think that in that role, that is basically what you're doing all day. If you look at it from the side, is that true? So how does your role at Golden Egg Check look like?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you, in the introduction, you mentioned it very well. So we are basically the connector in the venture capital ecosystem. So
Uh-huh.
we are in contact with many fundraising founders. We have our matchmaking event, Startup Roulette. And with this matchmaking event, we match fundraising founders to investors. And
Yeah.
because we have a co-investment model, we are very in active contact with VC investors in the Netherlands. So we share lots of our deal flow with other investors.
Yeah.
And when we are in contact with a founder and we want to invest or don't want to invest ourselves, in both cases, we can help founders with our network, basically.
Yeah.
So that we have I think we have a very unique and very fun and nice role as VC connector, basically in the ecosystem.
So you speak to investors, but also to founders, and in so if founders are listening right now, so what kind of deals are you looking at? So what stage, what sector, business model? Can you explain a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we are a micro fund, which means that we do small tickets in many companies.
Uh-huh.
We are active in the Netherlands mostly, but we also invest in the UK, Benelux, Germany, and the Nordics.
Okay.
And we invest in pre-seed and seed B2B software companies. And then
All right.
multi-vertical. So we invest across many verticals, but
Yeah.
there needs to be like a B2B software angle.
Yeah. Okay. And how many companies have you invested in so far?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we started the fund 3 years ago. That's our first
Yeah.
fund. And as I mentioned, we are a micro fund with a co-investment model. So we've invested in 35 companies currently. So we have a big portfolio, which is really, really nice. And we are almost closing, and we're starting our second fund from January 2026. And then we want to keep the same investment focus. So we will have a bigger fund. Right now we have a 5 million fund. Then we will have a 15 million fund, so 1.5. And we want to invest in, again, 40 to 45 companies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
With a bit slightly bigger tickets, by the way. So currently we have tickets between 50K and 100K. And we will move from between 50K and 250K. So we have a
great. So
broader,
even making more impact for founders. So that's very good to hear that. Clear. So actually, founders that are fundraising right now, they could apply, or how does it work, your application process? So they go to your website and they submit their funding application, or they reach out to you. What is the best thing that they could do?
Yeah, they can always sign up for Startup Roulette. So that's our matchmaking event. But they can also always send their proposition to me. Or to anyone in our team. Basically, we always try to look at all the inbound emails that we get, of course. And so it's, I think, very easy. You can also contact me via LinkedIn. Doesn't matter.
Okay, no, good to know that.
Yeah.
And okay, so you invest. I mean, you already have quite a big portfolio of companies. I mean, do you also add value to these companies when you have invested in them? So what do you add there, except for the money, of course? What else is it that you add to these founders, to these companies?
Yeah, I think it's good that you raised this because, of course, we do quite small tickets, but I think for the small tickets that we do, we deliver lots of value. So first one is that we deliver access to capital. So often companies come to us quite in an early phase of fundraising. And then we help them find a lead investor or other investors to close their round. So we're really, really active in this. And then, so we call that the access to capital. And then for follow-on rounds, we will also help them with their fundraising. So access to capital is one of our main pillars, so to say.
Yeah,
then we have the
because
second one.
You also have access then to later stage investors then. So it's not only the very early stage, but you can also help them in later stages, basically, to get funding.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Our biggest network, I think, is from pre-seed to Series B.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the network that we have, indeed. Yeah. And then the second pillar is basically the founder community. So as I mentioned, we currently invested in 35 companies. And that means we have a big founder community that's actually quite active. So on the one hand, they can reach each other through WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp group, but we also meet each other 3 times a year. So we have a founder dinner at Thomas Place, which is really nice. We have founder day. So we had a founder retreat last July in Doorn in the woods. We had really nice sessions with roundtables, so that we're actually connecting people on topics like that they're currently working on. And then we have our big community event in November, where we invite founders, LPs, and investors that we know, to come together. So the community knows each other really well, and I see that lots of connections and network and knowledge is shared among each other. And then for the second fund, we are adding a third pillar, which is basically access to growth. So we onboarded Michiel Kunst as our partner, and he is the founder of Bluebird Recruitment. And so he has worked his whole career in go-to-market sales. And so we're also adding, advice and know-how on go-to-market strategy, sales, and hiring practices.
Oh, great.
So,
Okay.
I think it's quite a broad palette that we
range
have and that we can help with.
of things that you add, and then so you are there for very early stage founders, right? So one thing that I hear a lot of times from founders is that they find it difficult to determine their terms, right? So when they are gonna raise their first round, they are thinking, okay, how much do I need to raise? What kind of valuation? What other terms? So I understand that you co-invest so that you're following basically the lead investor, but do you also help them? For example, if a founder comes to you and says, "Okay, I'm not sure, but I think I need 500K, and I'm not sure about my valuation." Do you also help them with making that proposition a bit clearer for them, or is that something that you leave to the lead investor and actually the founder to sort that out?
No, we think it's really important to support founders. So we help with fundraising strategy, and indeed can
Yeah,
always advise on how much should you be raising. Uh, uh,
yeah,
um, like a part of like what the valuation can be, for example, and that differs a lot per company.
yeah,
But we can also benchmark it because we see many deals, of course. So we can also benchmark it to what we see in the market.
yeah,
So yeah, we can definitely help with that. And we actually think that in these early stages, founder-friendly terms are also really important because the
yeah.
founder has to stay motivated.
No,
So
exactly. I agree.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can definitely advise
No,
on these practices. Yeah.
no, interesting. Okay. No, I think that is very valuable to a lot of founders. So very interesting. And what would you say in terms of bootstrapping as long as possible versus getting funding as soon as possible? How do you see that difference there?
Yeah, I don't think it's very black and white, but that's a boring answer,
But
right?
it's a very difficult choice, right?
It's a
As a
very difficult
founder,
choice.
like, do
Well,
I, keep
yeah,
on going? And of course, it takes longer, but yeah, at least I keep everything to myself for a
yeah,
longer period of time. Or yeah, I give away more equity, but I can go faster.
yeah.
It
No,
is
indeed.
difficult. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think bootstrapping is good because it shows that you've built a viable business model. So
yeah,
it shows that people, you found a problem, you found a solution, people want to pay for it, there's product market fit. So that's really important.
yeah,
But it can also be that you wait too long with raising money and then you're actually missing, maybe you've already played out the Netherlands and then you want to scale internationally, but you're actually quite late already in raising money. That's possible. So I think
yeah,
it's good to, like, you're in the best position if you don't need the money, but you want it to grow faster.
yeah,
And
yeah. So you only need the money to really grow and not to have so you could also just stay smaller with bootstrapping, or you can grow
yeah,
faster with the money, basically. That's
yeah.
what you say.
And you shouldn't
Yeah,
wait too long with it, but you also shouldn't raise too early.
yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah.
think that's
It's
a
a
difficult
difficult
answer, but
yeah, no, no, no,
it also
I
depends per case. Like we see companies that are raising very early, but it also depends on their business model. If it's like deep tech, for example,
yeah,
yeah, then you just need money on
you need
very
money.
early
Yeah,
from very early on. But
yeah,
if it's a model that you can sustain with revenue, but you see that you want to grow faster, then it's the right time to start fundraising.
no, no, yeah, good answer. I mean, yeah, indeed, it's not black and white, indeed, in that sense. So we understand then the scope of golden egg check. Your personal view. So if a founder is submitting his funding application or is in a talk with you, where do you personally look at? What do you find important in a proposition?
Yeah, so we first look at the team. I think like what their prior experience is, if they've had a startup before, the composition of the team. So do they complement each other? That's something that we find really important. And also, do we think that these people can actually make this a big business, a
Yeah.
unicorn,
So
of course?
so you say people. So it needs to be two. Can it be a single founder, or do you only invest in co-founding teams?
No, we invest in co-founding teams.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's because I think it's really hard to grow a business on your own.
Yeah.
And then many founders say like, yeah, but if I have a hire a management team, then yeah, I have a bigger team. But I think it's really important that the management team has skin in the game because you're
Yeah.
in there for a long time. You're gonna have so many obstacles, like difficult situations, and it's really important that people have a say in the company, and that they also feel it, right? If stuff's not going well, or yeah, I think their
Yeah.
equity is also what motivates them and why they're why they're giving up so much to yeah
To do
to
yeah,
build
yeah,
this,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
to build
yeah,
this whole company. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So team is a important
Team. Yeah.
important one.
And then
Anything
I
else that
always,
you think? Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So then I always look at the problem solution fit. So what
Yeah.
problem did they find among which group of customers? So is there a specific problem among a certain group of customers that is so big? It needs to be a need to have, like the urgency needs to be felt
Yeah.
by the group of customers. And also, did they find a solution that actually fit this problem? And then what are they delivering? So that's like the value proposition.
Yeah.
So problem solutions fit value proposition. I would put that in like one other
Yeah. One
thing.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then third would be like the international, like the potential, the growth potential. So can they
Yeah.
scale
Can it scale?
internationally?
Yeah.
And also, is their tech scalable, but also their business model? Because
Yeah.
often you see, for example, with very complex tech, that sales cycles are very long. And then there's, for example, lots of one-off revenue or implementation revenue. And we want to see that founders are close to like having a very scalable business as well. So that the majority of the income should be tech related
Hmm.
because that's
Okay.
most scalable.
Okay. You mentioned already what you're looking at. So I mean, I could find some tips in there, but maybe very clear to fundraising founders, so that are currently fundraising and really want to submit their pitch to you or to someone else. What would be your top 3 tips to them? Okay, do this to
Yeah.
make sure you have a good success.
Yeah, I think network is really important. So I think network can help you really far, actually.
Okay,
So start building on your network from an early day.
and you mean your investor network, or yeah?
Sorry,
Okay,
yeah, the
yeah,
investor
yeah, yeah,
network. So if
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
raise funding, start with your investor network from an early stage on. So that if you need the
yeah.
money, it's easier for you to reach out to the investors.
And how would you do? I mean, because let's say you are not fully ready yet, maybe with your pitch and with your funding ask and all that. So how would you suggest to do that then? Just make a
Yeah,
list of
so
people and just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm actually building this company, not yet ready to fundraise, but here I am. Or how would you approach that as a founder?
yeah. Yeah, I think in Dutch we have a saying, de stoute schoenen aantrekken.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
well,
In English, I don't know.
translated, that would be
Yeah, okay.
take on your
Uh,
brave shoes or something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, people are always willing to help, in my opinion, unless they're very busy, and then maybe they have another, like later, some time to help you out. But I
yeah,
think, and especially because women investors are also very aware of the fundraising problem,
yeah,
the fundraising gap. So I'm always happy to help founders out. Like if I have time for it, then sure, I can make some
yeah,
time to help you and give you some advice. If I'm very busy, then maybe yeah, you have to wait a little bit. But I think be bold and just contact people and see who's responding to you and open to it. I think you get many no's, but you just need a few yeses to build your network and to ask for feedback.
yeah.
And
Okay.
also, if I had a session with a founder already, and I know the proposition, and I gave my feedback, and for example, a year later they come back and they say, "Hey, I'm fundraising now." Actually, see that they incorporated my feedback. Then yeah, you have just many plus points
Yeah, exactly.
because I see that you are open to feedback, that you did something with my time as
Yeah,
well, and
yeah,
it was worth having a call.
yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah, so
think
you already have a plus there then. Yeah,
yeah, just contact people, and
yeah,
I'm sure people are willing to help.
yeah. So I think so the first thing you say is networking. Is there any other tips you can give to founders?
Yeah. So I think in networking, but maybe I also mentioned that a little bit, but just to put some more
Yeah,
highlight on it, I think in networking, the easiest way to network is to ask for feedback.
yeah,
So if you meet investors at an event and you want to have contact with them, just walk up to them and say, "Hey, I have a proposition and I want feedback on this and this points. Could you give me
Yeah.
feedback? And then it's very easy to get in touch.
Yeah.
Sometimes people find it hard to network. So that's one tip. Something else. Yeah. I really believe in the power of networking. So maybe,
Yeah, no, and I think you actually gave sort of 3 tips in one, because indeed, so you network, and then you go directly to someone, you ask for feedback, and you be precise also in asking feedback. So really, the question, so not just an overall question, but be quite precise, and then actually the third tip is then to follow up on that feedback, right?
yeah.
Because I think then it shows for someone like you, like, oh, okay, you really did something with your feedback. So wow, that with my feedback, so that really means that you are open to feedback, and that you want to learn and grow there. So I think those are the 3 elements basically. So you first make the introduction, you ask for the feedback, and then you follow up, and then you have the loop. You have a loop there. No,
Yeah.
so thanks for that. Red flag for you, really a red flag when you look at a proposition or you speak to a founder?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it happens with women founders often, but
Okay.
we do see sometimes that founders are like saying things that eventually factually are not correct. So then that really breaks the trust relationship that you have. So it's really important. Of course, you can shine a good light on good things, but make sure that your story is correct, because otherwise it's a real no-go, and we'll never get back in contact again.
Yeah.
So yeah, trust is really important. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, for example, that if I'm presenting my business plan, and I say, okay, in 5 years' time, I'm going to make 100 million revenues. And I believe that, that's not something that you mean, right? It's not that,
No, it's
or do
like
you? Yeah.
saying things that are factually
Yeah.
incorrect
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
moment that we can actually check,
And
that
that you
that is
actually
not gonna
also
help
know that
you.
is incorrect,
Yeah,
when you are, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
let's say I never expect people to do this, but if like trust is just really important for us. So we have to work together for a long time,
yeah,
and we are also sharing lots of what we think. We also, we share vulnerable things.
yeah.
We have the best intentions with everyone, and I always believe people have the best intentions. But just don't misuse this, because then
No,
it will break. And then if VC
yeah.
investors also have a lot of contact with each other, like, yeah, we wouldn't talk negatively behind each other's backs, but yeah, that really breaks something, and that's actually, I think, not easy or not even possible to restore.
No, and indeed, so it's a long-term relationship, so you really have to be careful with that, and build on that, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
no, understand that.
But it is also important, of course, to have ambition and to like make a plan that you think is realistic,
Yeah,
but also a bit bold, a
yeah.
bit on the opportunistic
Be a bit
side.
bold. Yeah,
Yeah.
be a bit ambitious. I agree with that, and it's a plan, right? So you never know how it's gonna end, but you at least you want to try to make it. Yeah, no,
Yeah, a plan should give you guidance. It doesn't have to become a reality. Like it can diverge a little bit, but yeah, make a realistic plan that is opportunistic or optimistic. Yeah.
I agree. I agree there with
Yeah.
you. And is there one question you always ask? I mean, that you always say, okay, I really want to ask this question, and that's, I mean, not the obvious ones, but maybe one that is specific to you. That you think like, okay, I really want to know this. I mean, I had some interviews where I got questions like, okay, what book are you reading, or is there something like
Mm.
that you are having, that you're like, okay, if I know, I don't know, your horoscope, then I'm gonna invest. I don't know. Is there something that is there that you find interesting to know?
Well,
Maybe not.
I
Eh?
don't
It's
have
just
one yet. No,
no.
like what kind of
Maybe time to
animal
get one.
do
Yeah,
you want to be? No, no, no.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
No, I think, but what I do really like to see, so I don't have these kind of questions, but what really turns me on, so to say, in a proposition, if is when people when it's really focused on what drives them.
Yeah.
So that's what can energize me as well, and that's something that you can bring over. In Dutch we say like it's besmettelijk. So if
Yeah.
your drive is
Contagious.
besmettelijk,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, then that really helps. And for example, if you had a personal experience with what you're building, or you know someone, or then that also helps, because then you can
Yeah.
see the passion like
Yeah. The
glowing.
personal drive
Yeah,
behind that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and
No.
that's
Yeah.
what also helps me a lot in. But
Yeah.
but I'm a very yellow person when we get to the disc. So
Yeah.
that's something that helps with me.
Yeah.
Of course, we also look at the facts and at
At the
the
blue,
numbers
at the
and
blue side of
at
things.
the blue
Yeah. Yeah.
side. But I think in the initial contact, yeah, it for me it really helps if someone is very inspiring, motivated, driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that also helps in contact.
Yeah. No, great, great, great tips and great insights.
Hmm.
How you look at things. One last question, maybe, is about your vision. Let's say mission in the next years, 5, 10 years. How would you like the ecosystem to develop, to grow? Where do you see opportunity? Well, in your role in Women in VCNL, but also what you do for AtVenture Platform, and in your role, of course, at Golden Egg Check. Is there something you would envision in the future, or where you would like to go to?
Yeah, I hope. Well, I hope earlier to see in a few years that we have more women in decision making positions, because I think that
Yeah,
will really change something in the ecosystem. And I hope to see more women get funding,
yeah,
and I also hope that venture capitalists can um, look a bit more like venture capitalists are very optimistic. But for example, I saw the Show Her the Money documentary,
yeah,
which was really, really inspiring. And what we saw there was that there was a women investor, and she went to a women founder, and the women founder at that moment had a business model that was not scalable yet. And she helped her to turn this into a scalable business. And I think that's something that is really important, if we want to change something as well. Not that women are only starting non-scalable propositions, definitely not. But my point is more that we just take a bit more effort to see how can we make it work, because there's always risks. So maybe it's not a standard venture case, but what do we need to build it into to build it into a venture case? And then I think it would be so nice if investors can put a bit more effort in exploring that with founders.
yeah. Okay, no,
So it's
beautiful,
something
and
that I also find hard myself, but I'm
no.
trying to develop
Yeah, because
this.
of course it takes more time and effort. It's easier
Yeah,
just to say, okay, no, it doesn't tick the boxes, so it's a no. And otherwise, you really need to go in, okay, but what if we pivot there or we pivot there? So, of course, it takes more time. But in the end, if it works out, it's of course also it gives a lot of energy to yourself as well, right? So I think that's,
yeah.
yeah, that's just great if that turns out to be a success, right? So I think that's,
Yeah, and I think it can
yeah.
also help you stand out as an investor, because if you
Yeah,
just tick the boxes, then
yeah.
what kind of
And you find
value are you
the
adding?
really yeah,
Plus, sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
plus, I think this is a way how you can find companies that no one else spotted because
exactly.
people didn't believe in
You
them.
find the good deal that nobody else believes in, and that becomes the next unicorn. So
Exactly.
yeah, you can really
So
stand
I
out
think
there.
that is a way
Yeah,
to reach out of your bubble,
yeah,
or like the companies that are that tick all the boxes, they will get venture capital anyway.
yeah,
So it's also more difficult for you as an investor to compete with other
yeah,
investors in that sense. So I think, adding a bit more creative perspective and
yeah.
see
Thinking
how you can
out of
turn
a
it
box.
around. Be
Yeah,
nice.
let's try to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's our aim also with AtVenture Platform. So I think that's great. And thank you for sharing your vision. Of course, yeah. As a call to action, I would say if you're a fundraising founder, yeah, you can reach out to Maud. You can go to Golden Egg Check. You can come to AtVenture Platform, and you can look at the Women in VC. That you also have a list of all female investors there. So there's a lot of things you can do as a fundraising founder. So thanks for that, Maud.
Yeah, I'm
So my
always
name.
willing to help. So feel
Yeah,
free to reach out.
that's really something I think a lot of people will actually do.
Yeah.
So be aware of that.
No,
Okay.
that's no
Uh,
problem.
yeah, great to hear that. No, thanks a lot, Maud, for being here and for sharing all your insights. Really appreciate it, and I love your passion and your mission to really to network and to connect all the people with each other. I think that's really great, and you're doing a great job there. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
So thank you. So my name is Laurie Lancee. This was AtVenture Dealflow, and I see you at the next great deal.